Why are we still working the same way we did in the 1920s, but I have less rights now today? Before industrialization, most people didn't work set hours. Farmers, artisans, and traders worked based on seasons, daylight, and needs, not clocks. The Industrial Revolution between the 1800s and the early 1900s introduced factories and strict schedules, forcing people into long, grueling shifts. In 1926, Henry Ford implemented the 40-hour work week. And not for worker well-being, but because he realized that giving people 2 days off meant they'd have more time to spend money on consumer goods, like his cars. In 1938, the Fair Labor Standard Act officially established the 40-hour work week in the U.S. to prevent worker exploitation. But this was nearly 100 years ago, before we had computers or AI or modern efficiency. So the question is, why are we still working like it's 1926 when we have the technology to make life easier? Studies show humans can only focus deeply for 3 to 4 hours a day, and the rest is just pretending to be busy. Sitting at a desk for 8+ hours a day increases the risk of heart disease, obesity, stress-related disorders, and burnout. Working long hours overtime has also been linked to memory loss and lower brain function. Why do you think you need 3+ coffees a day to survive work? Because it's unnatural. So, what happens when we work less? Let me give you some real-world examples. Between 2015 and 2019, Iceland conducted a 4-day workweek trial, which consisted of about 2,500 workers from both public and private sectors, and the industries involved range from offices to healthcare. I also want to mention that in this study, pay stayed the exact same. The results? Productivity stayed the same or even improved for many workplaces. Employees reported less stress and better work-life balance, and said they felt healthier, happier, and more motivated. Now, 90% of Iceland's population works shorter hours or has other modifications. Unilever in New Zealand conducted a similar trial with very similar results. Stress level decreased by 33%, work-life conflict fell by 67%, individual well-being of the employees increased by 33%. Even the stakeholders admitted that the business goals were fully met. These are just 2 of the examples of a lot of studies and trials that have been conducted throughout other countries, and a lot of other companies have implemented this. But I have more to say, so we're moving on, but if you want me to make a video about all the other examples, I will happily oblige. So now to address everything that's about to fill my comment section. If we work fewer hours, we'll make less money. Wrong. Companies that tried the shorter work week actually kept the same salaries because they saw workers getting just as much done. Studies show that workers are more productive when they're rested, meaning businesses can't afford to keep the same pay. The real issue? Corporate greed. Billion-dollar companies could keep salaries the same, but they want people to believe they can't. But the economy will collapse if people work less. Again, no. Iceland, Japan, New Zealand, Portugal, the UK all saw economic growth when they reduced hours. Some jobs need to be 9 to 5, like healthcare or emergency services. Sure, some essential jobs do require shifts, but that does not mean all jobs do. There's a reason I chose not to be a doctor or